sorore surge, testis esto pacti me. Come, sisters, be my testament. Notum sit in beator.
Notum sit in beator.
Holy hells.
I come to bargain. The hells demand witness.
Enough, Mizora. Where is my father? How do I save him?
How else? We bargain. Sisters.
Infernos contractus te vocamus. Infernos contractus te vocamus. Infernos contractus te vocamus.
Your contract, Will. Signed in blood, forged in fire, bound in bone, but not unbreakable. No contract is ended without sacrifice. A cost must be paid. Will Ravengard, a choice is before you. Option 1. I show you the way to your father. I guarantee him no harm except that from you and your allies. And you pledge your soul to me and the Archdevil Zariel in a pact eternal. Option 2. I break your pact and you are freed from your duty. Your father dies by his enemy's hand, and Baldur's Gate loses its greatest champion. Name your sacrifice.
Bloody Zariel! I won't let her take Will.
Silence, Karlach.
Mizora, you asshole!
Choose.
You damned wretch! Father. Do it. Break the pact.
Fiat ita.
Fiat ita. Anima ad beator.
Didn't think you had it in you. Seems my boy's all grown up. And don't go fussing about your father. You made your choice. You knew the terms. You know what? I think I'll stick around. Not for the greater good, you understand. Just for the entertainment.
Glad to have an ally.
Will gave up his father to have freedom. An understandable decision. Sacrifices must be made after all. Especially if the old Duke's fall means his rise.
Time and again, Will's plight reinforces my decision not to pursue the path of a warlock. It's one thing to make such a sacrifice in the pursuit of such a pact, but to do so in order to escape one. Truly, it leaves you with nothing.
Just what I need.
I can't believe Will's given up his soul to Zariel. For a father he fell out with ages ago. There's such a thing as being too good. Someone ought to tell Will Ravengard.
Chuk. The devil Mizora's made herself quite at home, hasn't she? Do make her feel as unwelcome as you can.
Need to find a way forward.
I received a dispatch from the Grove. Life carries on there in our absence, just as nature intended. My chosen successor, Francesca, has proven to be a wise choice. Perhaps the wisest I ever made as Archdruid. One grand victory may not be enough to absolve a host of small failures. That is where true leadership lies. Not in winning a single vast battle, but in fighting 1,000 smaller ones. Making 10,000 difficult decisions. Finding balance where none seems possible. Day after day. I was all too eager to surrender my responsibilities towards the Grove. Perhaps I was never meant to be Archdruid, to be a leader. Still, though, I cannot help but wonder if there was more I could have done. Perhaps, Oakfather willing, I may yet have the chance someday. Forgive me. The Shadow Curse occupied me so entirely and for so long. I almost missed the purpose it gave me. Now I must find a new one.
Gods, I spent 7 years choked by Mazora's leash. And I spent 7 years hoping to break free. I never knew freedom could taste so bittersweet. I have to believe that. I'm not the Hell's puppet in life, nor its warrior in death. The blade will be guiding his own hand. But freedom will be paid in my father's blood. Tomorrow, I celebrate my gain. Today, I mourn my loss.
A moment passes. In the stillness, you find a mote of tranquility.
The Ravengard name now lives solely with me. I will make it count for something. I signed his life away before the Hell's witnesses. It would be easier to drink the Styx down to the last drop than to alter his fate. I'd be a fool to wish otherwise. We obtain the final 2 Netherstones and take back our minds, and the city, from the brain.
Will sacrificed his own father. I hope freedom from the Pact is worth it to him.
Patricide is often the first step toward greatness. But I hope Will does not regret sacrificing his infernal powers. He is rather fond of himself. If he truly intends to be the savior of Baldur's Gate, perhaps he has reason to be. Was Baldur's Gate enjoying a golden age of prosperity and peace before Gortash rose to power? I think not. This city is like a wild beast. It needs a strong hand to choke it into obedience. Gortash may have that strength, but he chose the wrong allies to rule alongside him. Ketheric was reliant on his god instead of his own strength, and Orin does not understand power and control. Only blood. Given his position in the city's power structure, that may be easier said than done. I advocate for caution. I am reluctant to share power. But if he is amenable to it, an alliance with Gortash may be beneficial. Together, we can teach this city to fear us. And that is just the beginning. When we have all 3 Netherstones and control the Elder Brain, all of Faerun will have reason to fear us.
I did not know Duke Ravengard that well. But I am sure he would not want his son to become slave to Zariel for his sake. I am sure Will knows that. But we would do well to remind him when his days grow dark. No one truly understands the weight of loss until they've worn it a while. There is no shame in sharing the load when you need to. I have. And while I do not love my conclusion, that does nothing to change it. The Harpers are the city's best information network. With them out of action, we shall have to fall back on second best. 9 Fingers Keen. Oh, if it does not, you have led a very virtuous life indeed. 9 Fingers Keen controls the guild, which in turn controls every criminal racket from Heapside to the High Hall. Nothing happens in this city that she doesn't hear of, sooner or later. How hospitable she will be to a Harper that comes begging to her guild hall, we will find out. Perhaps I will let you do the talking.
One day I'll catch a break. I need a quick word.
Little Will's all grown up. I can't wait to see what trouble he gets into. I beg your forgiveness for such undue impertinence. From now on, I promise him the same measure of respect he's shown his father. Oh, I almost forgot. Will sold his father's life for his freedom. My mistake. The Absolutists worked a number on me at Moonrise. And you're the best hope I've got at payback. No one crosses the Hell's Children without getting scorched. You are an inquisitive one. I'd have thought you'd figured by now. Zariel found new use for an old battle axe. The dead 3 in that bulging brain of theirs are a threat to more than this trifling city, you know. Savor her company. Who's to say when Zariel might change her mind? My mistress can be so capricious. The 9 hells of Beator. Each its own domain, each with its own archdevil to rule it. I call the first hell my home, Avernus, my mistress Zariel's realm, a torrid battleground split by the bloody waters of the Styx. How I adore it, the delicious agony of it all. The other 8, well, they are pleasures unto themselves. Perhaps I'll show you myself, if I deem you worthy. Correct. I didn't. If you must know, I was scouting the cultists on behalf of Zariel, but those cursed shadows were thick enough to fell even a half-fiend. I woke in that damned pod. It kept my body sealed and my most powerful magic silenced. But a brave, kind, benevolent soul set me free. Gallantry isn't dead after all. I'm afraid that's not an option. I'm quite stubborn, you see. Take a swing or a stab if you want, but I'll just slip away for a breather. One of the perks of being a half-devil, of course. Why? I'm supplying Will with every scrap of his infernal power. I've paid my dues many times over. I tell you what. When the time comes to squish that big baddie of a brain, I'll lend you a hand.
Open up. I've got a long road ahead.
Keep a blade close. Moving. I'll just help myself.
I'm ready, whatever it takes. I must keep going.
Still alive, so that's progress.
Those clanking great steel watchers. Bloody hate them. No matter what the mouth says. Surely you can't agree with how he's talking to never been so.
My shop is pilfered every day. The city should be.
Revive that grand tradition.
God's damned hypocrite! The Blade of Frontiers, all pomp and empty oaths. The Sword Coast's most dashing fraud. I trusted you. I believed in you.
Cleric, what are you on about? What is this?
Lady Mizora told me everything. How you slaughtered your own father. How you crave his power. I thought you were going to save him. But you abused his current state to get rid of him. You mean to make the city bow to you, and you alone.
That meddling ghoul. Cleric,
Save it. My duty is to Baldur's Gate, and it holds no place for Ravengard's treacherous spawn. At ease. By the living gods, I believe you. What darkness has fallen upon us? Will, there's something you must know. I should have told you sooner, but I'd hoped somehow your father would return to us. He knew about the Absolute. I thought little of it at first, but he realized the danger before anyone else did. He understood that if the cult were successful in raising an army, Baldur's Gate would be doomed. Before the Absolutists abducted him, he told me that should he fall, I must seek you out and give you this message. Your father trained you in the ways of great champions. You are to use those lessons to wake the worm under the city. He is oath-bound to answer your call and come to our aid. A bronze dragon, yes. He sleeps beneath us even now, awaiting a hero to rouse him. The worm goes by many names. Ansur, the waiting storm, the heart of the gate. He promised Baldur he'd protect the city if ever its existence was threatened, but just the once. Since then, the city faced countless threats, but the Baldurians overcame them all. There was never any need to call upon the worm, but this time, things are different. This is the greatest threat Baldur's Gate ever faced. Your father was right. We need Unsur's help. With him gone, the worm's awakening now falls to you. Take this. The legend of Ansur, an ancient epic, ill-remembered, dismissed as a mere tale. Let it set the path before you. Thank you. In darkness, I see your light. I will go and assemble any allies I can find. When the battle horns call, we'll stand ready. Unleash the worm, Will. Let his tempest swallow the Absolute and its allies. Good luck.
Bloody boulder at you! That's out of line!
Curse that rotten devil and her forked tongue, trying to set Floric against me. She's a damnable inferno of chaos. What matters now is that Floric saw sense, and we know our path forward. We'll finish what my father couldn't. We'll awaken Ansur, the heart of the gate. Go on, read the legend of Ansur. Then we can plan our next steps.
The Worm's Rock Prison. What's this of a true hero's spa?
Lodge of the Society of Brilliance.
Search is the best for the common good.
I'd make a fine principal son.
My surface-dwelling friend, how long has it been? I am glad to see you well. I see your tadpole remains in its state of suspension. Your case has set us on quite the detour from our planned expedition work. We've thought about very little else. In the field seeking further subjects for study, though it has been gone for longer than I anticipated. After observing the nature of your tadpole's stasis, we felt it wise to report back to the Society. Omeluum went out into the city to seek out further undeveloped infections like yours. But I have heard nothing since. I admit, I'm somewhat concerned. We are usually sticklers for updating one another on our progress. Omeluum believed the answer to this riddle lay within the city walls, and held some connection to the cult of the Absolute. I had the distinct impression it was intentionally keeping its hypothesis from me, as though even the theory would be enough to put me in danger. Why that would be, I can only theorize myself. It is rather outside my area of expertise. Omeluum is most likely safe and well, and simply absorbed in its work. However, it would put my mind at rest to confirm it if you happen across its path. Of course, I should get back to my research. Research on the surface stops during what they call
Around you. You must mark. It's peaceful, isn't it? Peaceful for good. We've got a job to do. These goods need to be delivered.
Amazing how the city can seem almost peaceful at times, knowing all that goes on out there.
All that goes on.
When she was little, I couldn't wait for a time.
Consider the numbers. Someone out there must be having the worst day of their life. Robbed, evicted, widowed. Who knows? No wonder Shah thrives with such misery.
If that's true, then so must be the opposite. There are people out there celebrating their lives' best moments. A wedding to their betrothed, a new baby, a windfall, the taste of an exquisite pudding.